Welcome back, people. I'm Nick Yakabuchi. This is RealScreenReviews.com, and our next movie is the blood-drenched action extravaganza Machete. This film opened on Friday, September 3rd, 2010, and it stars in the lead and title role of Machete, often secondary character or main villain, Danny Trejo. However, this time around, he is neither, as the central hero and protagonist of a story that also features Jessica Alba, a return to the silver screen for Steven Seagal, Robert De Niro, Jeff Fahey, and Lindsay Lohan. This film comes to us from co-directors Robert Rodriguez and Ethan Manicky. Robert Rodriguez is, of course, the Maverick filmmaker responsible for bringing us El Mariachi and Desperado, as well as family fare such as the Spy Kids trilogy and last year's Shorts with John Cryer. Ethan Manicky, has been credited as an editor many times in the past, but this is his first foray in the world of directing. Our story begins in a bloody rampage with federale police south of the border in Mexico. Our hero Machete and his partner are attempting to bring down Steven Seagal's Torres, a ruthless tyrant and drug lord that spares nothing in order to get what he wants. Torres soon targets the interfering Machete and enacts revenge on his wife and daughter for his meddlesome behavior. Torres brutally and savagely murders his family, burns his house to its foundation, and leaves our champion for dead among the ashes. Machete barely escapes, and 3 years then elapses when he finds himself just attempting to get by when he becomes entangled in a plot to assassinate U.S. Senator and advocate against illegal aliens, Senator McLaughlin. He is hired by a political aide to carry this out, but is in turn set up to take the fall in a battle to boost the senator's voting in his upcoming election. While on the run and in trying to clear his name, he comes to the assistance of and is also assisted by Immigration Officer Sartana, portrayed by Jessica Alba, in a performance sure to be nominated for a Razzie. She is tracking down the very elusive Shay, that is the leader of the resistance, and Shay just might turn out to be someone very regular to the neighborhood. You also have Jeff Fahey and Lindsay Lohan as a crime-fueled father and drug-addicted daughter that still manage to become part of many different crime scenes throughout the film. Machete then launches into his own brand of federale justice equipped with blades, knives, corkscrews, cleavers, and of course, machetes, you guessed it. His need for revenge will then plunge him into a tale of political corruption and murder, all the while soaking the screen with enough blood for the blood banks across America to be very, very jealous. Well, people, this is a good movie if this is what you're looking for, but I think that some of the glorified violence had me just a little bit bored, a little more than halfway through the feature. I really find it funny that Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino made a double feature a few years back and separated the two films with 4 fictional trailers for 4 made-up films. One of those trailers was for Machete, and leave it to Robert Rodriguez to take the ball and run with it by making an entire feature out of those 3 minutes of source material. Now, I think the strongest point of this film is lead actor Danny Trejo. He really is quite a presence on screen, reminding me of another actor named Wes Studi, best known for being the villain Magua in the movie The Last of the Mohicans with Daniel Day-Lewis. Both of these men have such a sternness about them that they don't even really need to speak on the screen, and they still more than get their point across. Also, it was really cool to see Steven Seagal back on the big screen. You know, he turns in a basic performance as the bad guy, but nice to see him nonetheless. Now this brings me to Jessica Alba, who gives much more credible and solid performances in the L'Oreal makeup commercials that she stars in. And I think it's funny that "because I'm worth it" is the slogan for those commercials, and how ironic is that statement because she is anything but in her horrible turn in Machete. You know, I found it very amusing that the filmmakers went out of their way to make the film look as if it was dated from the 1970s, but satellite phones and imagery, DVD, and video conferencing were all predominant throughout the feature. Also amusing and ironic was a subplot to fence in our borders to Mexico to keep the immigrants out. This was funny because almost every time it was being campaigned for, there was a shot of the United States Capitol building in the background reminding and representing the land of the free. At 1 hour and 45 minutes, Machete was a graphically bloody and gruesome film that spent way too much time trying to be bloody and graphic. Unlike the film Takers from a few weeks back, this film is just not as solid as that one, and it's just not as entertaining either. I did enjoy the showdown between Machete and Torres in the climax of the movie, but this feature just got to be monotonous with its over-the-top violence and cheesiness. This is just a tad short of the entertainment value given in both Desperado and From Dusk Till Dawn, and because of that, I'm only going to give it 2.5 stars out of 4. And remember, people, I'm not always right, only when it comes to the movies. And thank you for your attention.